Perks. One of Call of Duty Zombies' defining features. Over the years, we've seen dozens of new perks introduced and reintroduced by Treyarch. The Zombies community has also contributed an immense amount of custom perks. I am Angel64, and today I will be ranking every single perk that I could find. Before I begin, I want to mention that this list is 100% opinion based. This list is just my opinion, and because my opinions are just absolutely base, you might as well take these as fact. But if you disagree with my list, and I'm sure you will, let me know in the comments which perks you think should be higher or lower on the list. I will be looking at the perks from Black Ops 3 solo perspective, the main Zombies game I play. Some perks also have a double buy that significantly improves on its standard version. I will not be taking this into account because other perks do not have this upgrade function. A ranking regarding double buys will be done in a separate video. Can you guess which perk will be number 1? Type it in the comments or in your head, and at the end, see if you got it right. I'll give you a hint. It's not a custom perk. I will put the perk description and images on screen, so if you don't know what a perk does or if it's a custom perk, it'll be here. In any case, I will explain all the custom ones whenever they come up. So with all that said, let's begin. Number 55. Victorious Tortoise. This perk would be a lot more useful if the shield blocked more sides when not being held. The fact that you have to hold it and some maps don't even have shields makes this one pretty useless. Even when you have a shield, being trapped by zombies on all sides would probably lead to your death anyway, unless you have another perk or weapon to help you get out. Overall, my least favorite perk. I will probably never buy this unless I'm doing something very specific, like a shield only challenge maybe? 54. Stone Cold Stronghold. This perk promotes campy behavior, which I absolutely despise. It's definitely a way to play the game, but I find that it can be extremely boring. If you're playing the game with camping in mind, then this perk would probably be in the top 5 easily. But because I'm not a little bitch boy, I will never get this. Number 53. Magnet Margarita. This is the first custom perk on the list. This perk gravitates power-ups towards the player. They stop before they get to you, but it still usually places them in your way and you end up grabbing them anyway. This can suck because almost every power-up needs some sort of preparation before grabbing, such as reloading before max ammo or grabbing the nuke after killing the zombies for maximum points. In others, you just don't want to grab in later rounds like Carpenter because it slows down the zombies a bit. This perk makes them harder to avoid. Though, power-ups like insta-kill, nuke, and death mission can be pretty useful to have near you if you are in a pinch. This is a lot better in later rounds, but it does take up a perk slot, so it's definitely not worth it. Number 52. Downer's Delight. This perk allows you to use your primary weapon when you're down and increases your bleed out time. It's really only useful in multiplayer for its increased bleed out time, but it is actually a downgrade in solo if your primary gun is worse than something like a Mustang and Sally. Overall, not too many reasons to get this over something like quick revive, in solo at least. In fact, in solo, you need quick revive for this to even work. That's 2 perk slots just to use your primary gun when downed? Weak. Number 51. PhD Flopper. PhD Flopper in Black Ops 3 is very tricky to rank because PhD Slider exists and it does everything PhD Flopper does plus more. I almost didn't want to include Flopper because it's just so similar to Slider. Either way, I decided to rank it because it might make some people mad when they see that it's a slow, and that's funny. PhD Flopper has a couple of different variations within Black Ops 3 mods and custom maps. To simplify it all, I will try to stick to the best variation, which gives immunity to fall damage, explosive damage, and your grenades become cluster grenades, where one grenade becomes multiple, which is a lot of fun to mess around with. There is another variation that removes the cluster grenade function and replaces it with the traditional dive off a high place and create an explosion using the sliding. The fall damage doesn't matter that much because most maps can't really kill you from height alone. Most maps are not high rise. The only good thing this perk has is the immunity to explosive damage, which is pretty good. I could just avoid using explosive weapons though, and I can free up a perk slot for something better. I know it's a pretty controversial placement, but PhD Slider makes this perk obsolete, so that's why it's this slow. So before you get mad, wait until the end. Number 50. Space Cadet Cola. Getting hit will create a zombie blood type effect for a short while that is on a cooldown. These sort of effects are good for rare power-ups, but not really for perks. God mode is fun for the first couple of minutes until you realize that there isn't really any challenge anymore and you turn it off and go outside to toss the old pigskin. Despite this, the effect is pretty inconsistent and seems to activate randomly once the cooldown is over. It's one of those things that you're glad you got if you suck, but if you're good, this perk is more of an annoyance. I give it props for being a little different than the other perks and having some unique dialogue.
Cadet activated.
But other perks do this a bit better. Number 49, Deadshot Daiquiri. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Deadshot. Even when I used to play on Xbox using a controller, I've always been an aim god. Plus, when has aiming really even been that important for zombies? Missing a headshot isn't the end of the world like it is in multiplayer. The only cool thing Deadshot does is make your bullets gravitate towards the zombies' heads, which is useful for high rounds when you're not too worried about points anymore. But it takes up a perk slot for a whole load of nothing. Nonetheless, a very solid, strong 49 ranking. Solid 49. Number 48, Blaze Phase. I get this with the intention of being a badass zooming through the map, but it just ends up turning into zombie bowling and I look like a dork. I think it's way more fun than useful. It can be pretty dangerous as well because it can force you into a bad position if you're not careful. It does save you ammo though by using your spicy secretion to delete some zombies. The name and fun factor carries it alone. It sounds more like something that happens to you after some terrible food though. Number 47, Who's Who. I feel like this one is typically lower on most people's list, but I actually really like the concept behind Who's Who. Being a doppelganger clone ghost creature is cool. It'd be a lot better if you kept your perks when you're in Who's Who though. But even then, there are other perks that work a lot better at helping you when you're down, such as number 46, Nuke-A-Cola. This perk drops a nuke whenever you go down. If the name sounds familiar, it's because both the name and machine are borrowed from the Fallout games. This perk gives you just enough time to go pick up Quick Revive or Juggernog again before the next wave comes out. Number 45, Death Perception. I honestly believe this is such an underrated perk, but alas it is within the 40s rankings. I found this perk to be more useful on maps that you don't play much or haven't played before, such as most custom maps. It helps you get a feel for how the zombies move around the map before you get used to the timings and their pathfinding. Although, if you're good enough, you pretty much have permanent death perception, aka zombie sense, aka you've been playing Keynote or Totem for 10 years now and you know where every little dust particle is on the map. This one's my favorite one. Number 44, Crusader Ale. Crusader Ale doubles the strength, range, and speed of all melee attacks, as well as making you 50% more resistant during knife lunges. This perk is really only good for its speed increase. Double melee damage really isn't that much of an upgrade. This is pretty much double tap but for your knife. If you really wanted to suffer through a melee only attempt, this perk could be somewhat helpful. But again, other perks down the line will do a lot more for your melee than this one. Number 43, Tombstone. Yes, Tombstone is this high. Its old school co-op only variant would be a lot lower, but the one that I've used in Black Ops 3 is similar to the Cold War variant, except you only get your first 4 perks back no matter what. I believe the version I got to use might have been bugged though, and every time I revived myself I would gain double tap, Juggernog, speed cola, and quick revive even if I didn't have those perks. But I believe the intended effect of the perk is more akin to that of Cold Wars, where the longer you take to revive yourself, the more perks you lose. Despite that, the Black Ops 3 variation I've been using is more useful compared to what it used to be, especially for solo players. But honestly, the jingle alone carries this one.
Rest in pieces, down for the count.
Number 42, Swarm Scotch. Headshots and reloading an empty clip can sometimes spawn a friendly swarm of insects that follow and damage zombies. The swarms can appear often and almost always kill the final zombie before I can get anything done. So you should definitely save a perk like this for the later rounds when you're trying to get them completed faster. The concept of this perk is cool, and I have to admit I was excited to try it out the first time I found out about it. The next perk does a similar job and does it better. Number 41, Blood Wolf Bite. Luna the Wolf is much cooler than a swarm of bugs. Can we at least agree to that? Or are you a bug lover? Yeah? You like ants and bees? When I first heard of this perk, I thought it was amazing, but similar to Swarm Scotch, it seems to screw you over more than it helps. Whenever the wolf spawns and kills your last zombie in the middle of spinning the box or doing an Easter egg, it just makes you want it down to get rid of it. It does help with special zombies like Panzers a ton though, so definitely pick up Blood Wolf Bite if you have troubles with those guys. Number 40, Cryo Slide Soda. This soda allows you to freeze all nearby zombies when you slide or knife. Whenever they are completely frozen, they can be instantly shattered with any amount of damage. It also slows down the zombies by 25% if they manage to thaw out. I found this to be the most useful when using some sort of explosive in tandem. You can freeze almost an entire horde and then shatter them all with one explosive shot. Definitely a powerful perk for mid to late rounds. The only issue with this is that there might be a time where you don't want to freeze zombies, and if you don't kill them, then you have a bunch of slowed down zombies which can get annoying at higher rounds. Number 39, Time Slip. I love hitting the box, so I'm probably in the minority on this one being this high. I like switching up my guns a lot when I play a map. This also makes early game a little easier when you're trying to get a good setup. After that though, it's not as useful, but it definitely still helps. Number 38, Zombshell. You can run in and out of the containment field to slow down zombies, which leaves it up to you on how and when to use it. I wasn't a big fan of this effect at first, but I have slowly grown to love it after using it for a while. It makes training a bit more safe, but also fun. It's like a zombie condom. Only problem is that it's still semi-random if it pops up or not. This perk helps a lot when you need to defend an area or if you're camping. Number 37, nitrogen cooled. This perk makes zombies that are running near you start walking instead. This is more useful early on. Number 36, snail's pace slurpee. When I first started experimenting with perks, I thought this perk did the same thing as nitrogen cooled, but I was wrong. This does something similar to nitrogen cooled, albeit a bit better. Snail's pace slurpee will slow down zombies, not make them walk, but actually slow down their movement as if they were in slow motion, which significantly lowers your DPS. Although this isn't permanent, it only occurs when they get near you, which I think is actually an improvement over nitrogen cooled. Snail's pace slurpee is also a cooler name, so. Number 35, Vulture Aid. This perk does so much. The bonus ammo and points pickups don't really matter all too much in the later rounds, but I find it's the most powerful on maps that you've never played before, or for new players to get quickly acquainted with where things may be. As someone who plays lots of custom maps, this can be extremely useful when the pack-a-punch is hidden away or when I just can't find Jug. Number 34, Damn a Nade. Damn a Nade increases your explosive damage, but more importantly, gives one more tactical and lethal grenade slot. For example, instead of 3 monkey bombs, you'll have 4. It also regens all your lethals and 1 tactical every round. I think you can see why this can be really useful in maps with little Arnies or Gersh devices. With this perk, you'll never have to wait for a max ammo to replenish those cute little bunkies. Number 33, Banana Colada. This perk is surprisingly useful. It increases your slide length and leaves a little bit of your slime behind for zombies to slip on. It's perfect for high rounds. You can make almost an entire horde slip if you angle it right. It's like a mini liquefier. Who's my little squishy slime? Who's my slime? You're my slime. Yes you are, my little slime. Number 32, Mad Gas Moonshine. This perk allows you to create up to 20 to 25 explosions per round by sliding, similar to that of the Slaughter Slide Gubblegum if you've ever used that before. Headshots to zombies will light them on fire and cause residual damage as well. If PhD Slider and Blazeface had a son, this would be its hot cousin. This one's a lot better than other arcade style of perks, but I still don't find myself using it too often because it's just not as fun. The fire headshots are definitely a bonus though. Number 31, Inciner Brandy. We're starting to get into the perks that help a ton in later rounds, such as Inciner Brandy, which has a chance to ignite zombies and deals damage over time. Zombies killed by the fire can also explode, which effectively turns regular zombies into Nova Crawlers. This helps increase your damage output but makes it harder to keep a zombie alive for any reason. More damage output on higher rounds is always welcome. Number 30, Windrunner Whiskey. This perk launches zombies into the sky when you run into them and recharges every 17 seconds. It also creates a shockwave that will launch zombies whenever you jump off of something high. You can also run and shoot at the same time. While it has a lot to offer, there are other perks that can do each of these things better and contain more features. Launching zombies is fun, but having it occur almost every time you sprint can get annoying rather quickly. Admittingly, I've rarely used this perk, so it might be better in other uses. It's not on very many maps, so it's hard to determine how good this perk can be. For now though, it's a gentle 30. Number 29, Bull Ice Blast. I rarely use this when I find it on maps, but when I do have it, it's a lot of fun. You can double jump and then slam into the ground to freeze all the zombies around you. I personally really like it more for its double jump feature. This allows you to get away from zombies a little easier and even break some maps. As a zombies player who really loves the movement aspect of zombies, having more jumps is always a plus. More importantly, it seems to break the health of panzers, and they die extremely fast. So, because of that, it's ranked a little higher. Number 28. Brawl Star Punch. This one's a little interesting. Brawl Star Punch gets its name from Brawl Stars, a mobile game similar to League of Legends, I think. I've never played it before, so I assume it's based on an ability within the game. Maybe some of you can enlighten me. Brawl Star Punch lets you periodically activate a Berserker mode similar to that of a power-up in Doom, which allows you to use your fist to one-tap any zombie you punch. It's pretty broken, especially considering you can activate it whenever you want. It does have a cooldown though, so you will have to wait between activations. It feels like a specialist weapon more than a perk. Zombies also seem to just die if they touch you. The cooldown helps prevent it from being totally busted, but it's still a lot of fun to use. I definitely suggest trying it out. Number 27, Ethereal Razor. I'm the kind of player that likes getting high points early on and getting into the late game as quickly as possible. So I usually try to get a bowie knife, sickle, gavel knuckles, and other melee upgrades quickly and use it until it stops being one hit. Ethereal Razor helps extend the amount of rounds you can one hit by increasing the damage of a melee by a tremendous amount. and I mean tremendous. You can one hit up to round 17 with just your regular knife. Imagine how far you could go with a Bowie knife. I'll let you test that out yourself, but you're looking at being able to one tap knife up to the late 20s possibly. Unfortunately though, it gets harder to knife in later rounds because zombies are faster and gather in larger numbers. Well, we're about halfway through. How about a little break? Today, I'm going to be attempting the world's hardest zombies challenge. How long can I stand playing Transit? Man, this music just hits a little different when it's been 10 years. Okay, gotta find the parts, let's go. Got one right there, it looks like my wife a little. Where are the other parts? I think one might be on the chairs. I don't remember. Man, the bus is honking. I can't do this, man. It's too much pressure. Oh, I found another. Okay, let's build. Why didn't it build? Oh shit, I messed up. This isn't Black Ops 3. I can only hold one part at a time. What the fuck? Whatever, I'm buying the door. Let's go. Come on, Teddy. We ain't got time for waiting. Look at me. Look at me. You fucking... Okay. My bad. Man, hurry up! Huge throated. Definitely got that sidewalk. Come here. Oh, no. Not like this. Oh, shit. Not like this. Not like this. Not the little creatures. Oh. No, dude. This sucks. I'm done. Get me out of here. Number 26. Vigor Rush. A simple mid-game perk that can get you into those high rounds quickly. Vigor Rush makes your bullets explosive and deal more damage. Get yourself a double-tapped SMG and you have enough firepower to take over the state of... Wyoming? Speaking of double-tap. Number 25. Double Tap 2.0. The bigger, sexier, older brother to Double Tap 1.0. One bullet magically turns into two, and your rate of fire is increased. I really only use Double Tap if I don't have Mule Kick or Quick Revive first, both of which I usually always get. I'm not a big fan of Double Tap, but I do believe in it. I'm not sure what that means. All I know is that while I'm using it, zombies can suck my big Double Tap throbbing. Number 24. Miracle Hand Mocha. I originally had this a lot lower, like in the 40s, but after heavy debating, I decided to place this amongst the high 20s because of its impressive utility. It does two things. You can throw equipment faster, so this helps in getting out Arnies or Bunkies extremely fast, and you usually need those to come out pretty fast. More importantly, however, it grants the player the ability to reroll a drop power-up up to 3 times. Any power-up that drops, you can reroll for something that fits what you need. See a nasty, boring carpenter? Switch it up to get an insta-kill, or even a max ammo. Although, you still have to stop and activate the power-up to spin it, and sometimes it just isn't possible when you're running trains. In co-op, you just need one person to have this perk to benefit the entire team immensely. Number 23. Quick Revive. Finally, we get to Quick Revive. I honestly think that solo and co-op Quick Revive should be 2 different perks, because I would have ranked them differently. But considering both as one, I decided that this would be a good spot for a Quick Revive. Solo Revive essentially gives you a couple of extra lives if you suck super hard, while co-op Revive helps you if your friends suck super hard. Buy it if your little brother or sister is playing. There are other perks that do that revive stuff better, such as... Number 22. Fighter's Fizz. Fighter's Fizz lets you keep all your perks if you can get a kill using your held gun while downed. This makes getting revived a little more skillful because you have to earn that revive, which could actually make it almost impossible to come back on higher rounds if you don't have a strong wonder weapon, or if you just aren't an aim god. Number 21. Pack-a-Box. Want a Pack-a-Punch gun but don't want to work for it? You want a PAP SMR? How about an S12? Yeah, you want a little S12? You degenerate? You probably have a stupid name, like Tyler or Amanda. This perk makes it so that you have a chance to receive a Pack-a-Punch gun straight from the box. This adds another layer of gambling into the mystery box, which is winning. That feeling of intense euphoria when you put in 950 zombie coin and make a 4,050 profit is such a rush. Number 20. Mule Kick. Now we're getting into the meat and celery of things. A third gun. It's like having a third arm or a third nut. Who wouldn't want that? The strat in BO1 on maps like Kino was to get quick revive, jug, speed, and double tap until you ran out of quick revives, and then you would grab mule kick for late game. It was the perfect strategy. How I miss when things were simpler and I could count every available perk on my 5 little toes. Full disclosure, I am Mexican, so please be aware of that possibly subconsciously affecting the ranking. And if you disagree with me, I might have to cancel you on Twitter. Number 19, Guardian Angel Ale. This one is a very good perk. Guardian Angel Ale makes you invincible for a few seconds after being hit, and then it has a cooldown. While this perk is really good, it's pretty broken. I mean, it doesn't really make you scared of being trapped, because you will always have enough time to whip out your wonder weapon or bunkie. That being said, it rarely comes out, so it's really more like an extra hit. I think it strikes a good balance between useful and broken. It's like a duct tape together perk. It's almost broken, and you could break it some more if you really tried. Number 18, Widow's Wine. Winter's Wail's younger, fatter little sister. Widow's Wine is super strong in helping you get out of sticky situations by making the zombie sticky and making you silky. It is pretty similar to Winter's Wail, but that perk does it slightly better. I'll also give it some baby bonus points for having one of the better looking perk machines. Number 17, Winter's Wail. It doesn't kill the zombie when it activates. It also doesn't use your grenades. It's on a cooldown instead, which I like a lot more. It also allows you to retain that last zombie for some box spins or Easter egg steps. Definitely a huge improvement over Widow's Wine. I don't really see the reason as to why you would get Widow's Wine instead of Winter's Wail. Number 16, Electric Cherry / Electric Burst. The stunning effect provided by cherries isn't as strong as other perks, but it is much more consistent, and I find that it still does a decent job at holding zombies back long enough for you to get a bunkie or thundergun shot out. I also like the effect that pops up on the screen, but sometimes it can be pretty overwhelming for your senses when so much else is already happening. What, I have a very easily stimulated mind, I don't know. Number 15, Point Crusher. This perk's description says it allows you to earn up to 90 extra points rounded to the nearest 10 on a kill, and that higher numbers are rare. I'm not sure what that means because either I can't read it right or I'm extremely terrible at math. Either way, all I know is that it gives you more points, and my monkey brain loves seeing the numbers go higher and higher and higher. Number 14, Blood Bullets. One of my favorite custom perks. Blood Bullets regenerates ammo for your current weapon over time. I mean, this is basically free infinite ammo if you can just run around for a while. Works best with the launchers, obviously. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with wonder weapons unless you double buy it, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it won't be covered here. Number 13, Salvage Shake. Similar to Blood Bullets, but it regenerates ammo on your holstered weapons. And in my experience, this includes wonder weapons. This perk is really strong with Mule Kick and 2 weapons that can knock out a horde. What do you think this perk tastes like? Probably battery acid. Number 12, Bandolier Bandit. Being able to hold more ammo in a game where ammo is important definitely deserves a top spot. It's not a very noticeable perk, but it works wonders in the background. I feel like this is such an underrated perk because it's perfect for giving wonder weapons a bit more ammo, and they are at the core of high rounds. Number 11, Cashback Cocktail. The definitive points perk. If you want a perk that allows you to accumulate points faster, this is the one you want to buy as early on as possible. When you buy anything, Cashback Cocktail gives you 25% of it back. This means using less points and more money for gambling. The coupon perk. Your grandma would love it. Call your grandma right now. Say something nice and ask her if she's ever couponed. If she says no, she's lying. And finally, we have made it to the top 10 best perks in Black Ops 3 Zombies. Number 10, PhD Slider. Okay, again, this one might be controversial, but please bear with me. Some might have put this even higher, but I believe this is a good spot. It is the better PhD. This perk allows you to slide into a zombie to create an explosion. It has a cool slide effect, the perk machine looks way better, I can use my ray gun and shoot at my toes without getting hurt. Critics will say, but hey, that's just like PhD Flopper. Wrong. You can't dolphin dive in Black Ops 3, so you can't drop mini nukes. But you can slide tackle, which is a lot cooler, but admittingly, not as fun. I have it much higher than Flopper because Slider is much more prevalent within BO3, and I use it as a replacement for Flopper. Not only is it a replacement, but it does a bit more than Flopper. Despite that, PhD Flopper will always have a special place in my BO2 and below heart. Number 9, Tactiquilla Sangria. This one is just a lot of fun to use. First, it gives you the chance to regain fired ammunition, and in my experience, occurs often and is very useful for wonder weapons. Second, multi-kills grant bonus points. And lastly, you can shoot while sprinting. This is definitely one of those perks that can be grabbed at any time to improve your game, early throughout late game. It stays being useful. If you don't believe me, you should try it yourself. Running around while shooting an LMG or wonder weapon is visual ASMR. Unlike Windrunner Whiskey, which also allows you to sprint and shoot, Tacticia doesn't blast zombies into the air unnecessarily whenever you sprint, which gives you more control over your mayhem. I like ordered chaos. Chaotic order isn't really my cup of milk. This is probably my favorite perk name as well. It just sounds good to say. Tacticia Sangria. Tacticilla Sangeria. Number 8. Stamina Up. The must-have perk on bigger maps found within BO3. Or if you really like training. It's not as useful on World at War maps, but on some Black Ops 1 through 3 maps, it makes training more manageable and even more fun. Try playing some of the DLC BO3 maps like Horizon Drag or Revelations without this. It makes the game feel a lot slower. I've never felt more lazy within a video game than when I don't have stamina up and the mystery box is on the complete other side of the map. I'd rather reset the game. Number 7. Elemental Pop. I love its colorful aesthetic and its randomized functionality. The perk jingle slaps too, so that bumps it up about 0.3 points. It also taught me what all the ammo types did when getting into Black Ops 3 Zombies for the first time, so I'm gonna have to give it the tutorial bonus. It's really good at finishing those long high rounds when you don't have any wonder weapons. All you need is a wall gun that's double papped, stacked with elemental pop, and you have the perfect setup for 255 rounds. I think some people might say that this should be lower on the list, and it originally was, but I decided that I prefer this over some of the previous perks. I don't think it's as useful as some of the previous perks, but I'm just a very big fan of RNG, aka gambling. Number 6. Speed Cola. Probably my most controversial pick. I see a lot of people picking an assortment of other perks in games over Speed Cola, but I cannot depart from my dearly beloved Speed Cola. I am an impatient gamer. I can't wait around for that stupid LMG to reload. Fast reloads are just so satisfying. Even in multiplayer, I was always running sleight of hand. I cannot stand when I'm training and have to slow down to reload for so long. I die way more often without this, and I hate how slow it makes the game feel. A very necessary perk for me. Time for the final 5. These are the 5 definitive must-have perks on every playthrough if you're Angel 64. You're saying there's a 4 perk limit? Well, number 5 doesn't even take up a perk slot. Number 5. Ammo-matic. A cut perk that was brought back in as a custom perk. It doesn't take up a perk slot because it's not really a perk, I guess. When you purchase this perk, it gives you max ammo, which of course is extremely useful at any point in a run. It's a perk machine that doesn't give you a perk. I'm not sure if this should even be counted as a perk. There's a machine and it has a quirked up name. By that logic, it is a perk, and it's in my list, so I say yes. Number 4. Ecstatic Elixir. I have seen this perk spelled differently, so I don't know what's the actual name. I think Ecstatic Elixir is probably the real name. It just makes more sense. Anyways, I've been waiting to get to this one. This perk will stun zombies when you sprint near them, similar to Electric Cherry. This is the perfect training or escape tool. It's super fun to schmoove around a horde of zombies, turn around, and watch them all stunned at how cool you look doing it. This is definitely one of the most fun perks to mess around with, especially if you like running around everywhere. Combine this with Stamina Up, Speed Cola, and Electric Cherry for a Thor playthrough. Number 3. ICU. Faster health regen, speed boost on low health, invincible while performing actions, and you literally cure cancer. Okay, it doesn't do the last part, but everything else is just as good. You don't even have to combine it with Jug, but if you did, you would become an absolute tank. The speed boost whenever you don't have Jug will activate often, and that can keep you alive longer. Plus, faster health regen,
Yes, Zaddy.
I'm sorry, that was terrible. Number 2. Juggernog. I bet you didn't expect this to be number 2, huh? Juggernog is essential for any sort of high round attempt. Obviously, if you're really good at not getting hit, you don't need this perk, but you might as well not have any perks and go participate in a tag tournament instead, you dingus. With Juggernog, getting hit once or twice is a warning that you might be in danger and you should try to schmoove away. Without Jug, you'll stub your toe and die. I don't have much to say about Jug. It has a reputation that speaks for itself, not enough to be included in Black Ops 4, but enough to come back in later installments. But what could be better than Jug? And now, for the ultimate number 1 mega giga super ultra zoinkers perk, Dying Wish. Did you predict this one to be number 1? No? I did. Dying Wish is the best way to keep the game going. It is by far the best perk out of any on this list. I mean, you don't go down and instead you're invincible for a good chunk of time whilst your melee damage is increased. It's also on a cooldown instead of having a limited amount of uses, like Quick Revive. I think it's considered broken, but honestly, I think it strikes a good balance. Eventually, the cooldown gets too long and you'll probably die before it's ready again. Although, in BO3, the cooldown seems to always be 5 minutes, so you only need to be good for 5 minutes at a time. You can pretty much keep a game going forever and still go down plenty of times as as long as the downs are spaced well. So it definitely still takes a good amount of skill to keep going. Sometimes you go down because of something silly and it seems unfair. Some might say that's part of the game, but I would retort by saying that I think playing with Dying Wish is more representative of your skill set anyway. If you're someone that isn't very good, you will probably down often, and Dying Wish will probably not save you. If you can survive more than the cooldown on high rounds, then you're probably good enough to stand your own in COD Zombies esports. Players of every skill level benefit heavily from this perk. If you want to get high rounds as a skilled player, grab this. If you poop your pants at the sight of more than one zombie sprinting, grab this. It's fun for the whole family. Does it make the game easier? Yes, but it also allows you to play the maps you want to play longer, and it makes the game much more enjoyable. At the end of the day, I believe that a game should be fun first and foremost. While difficulty can be very fun, I think it's important that the punishments are a bit more lenient in a game where the matches can last many hours. That is why Dying Wish wins the #1 spot on my list. So, that was my ranking for every single vanilla and custom perk that I could find. These perks are the ones I see pop up in maps, mods, and discussions the most often. If I missed any, let me know in the comments and I can place them somewhere on the list. Did you like my list? No? Okay, go cry I guess. Oh, you did? I love you. All the links to any video sources, maps, mods, and some other fun things will be in the description. Special shout out to Logistical Reaper for his mod that adds a huge amount of perks as well as a ton of other features that I've used for videos in the past. Link to his mod will be in the description as well. I usually do live commentary challenge type videos, and this was the first time I scripted something. I put a lot of time and effort into this video, and the script was over 20 pages alone, so please make sure to like the video and subscribe if you did watch all the way through. If this is the first time you've ever heard of some of these perks, make sure to check out the videos where I actually use some of them. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go take a nap now.